To the rivalry matchup without their starter Derek Carr, who injured his oblique late in their loss last 4 times, and make it 51-27. That is the second most points in franchise history and a franchise record 594 yards of total offense. Breakneck speed both ways. We hope you wore your seatbelt as Tampa Bay comes away a winner and improves to 4-2. Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside Bryant McFadden. Mac, usually I try and have some sort of illuminating question for you here, but this was a game that had a Red Bull before it. Something to a Celsius, whatever your drink of choice is. We couldn't make sense of what the ball was doing. It seemed like hot potato at times, 7-on-7 at others. Do you feel good about the way the Bucs performed and walked away with the winner? Is this one that you sort of use as a teaching moment, despite all those yards and all those points? Fellas, we didn't do this very great. I
feel real good about the way Tampa performed, and here's why. Anytime you can go on the road against a divisional foe in their place and put up 50-plus points, you should feel good. Anytime you're in that position where you take over the ball game, remember Tampa and Baker, they scored 17 points in the first quarter, and then instantly in the second quarter, that snowball came down the hill, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and it provided a window of opportunity for New Orleans with the untimely turnovers. For Tampa, they were scoring points, and before you knew it, I mean, they were down in that first half. So then you needed to find a way to decompose, come back down, and let's get it going again, and they were able to do that, Joe.
It felt like it went from 17-0 to 20-17 in about like 2 plays.
Yeah, like how?
Punt return, it was a couple INTs. It all happened very quickly, but it was 50-plus points and 3 or more turnovers. First time that's been done by a team since the Chiefs in 2018. This was a Jameis Winston stat line, but Baker Mayfield amassing it. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure it was not a whole lot of fun, especially if you're on the New Orleans side.
And another thing I think for Tampa, something they need to really keep going is running the football. Sean Tucker had a huge day, 14 carries for 136 yards and a touchdown. Bucky Irvin had a huge day as well, 14 attempts for 81 yards. If they can just run the football, might not be to that nature, but just being able to have a sense of balance, their offense can be better. It can be better. And they were able to do so without White being in the lineup, who is their RB1. But when you look at the burst and the physical nature that Sean Tucker was able to display, along with the quickness of Bucky Irvin, the running game needed to show up today, and they did so, along with Baker making big-time plays. So this was a huge win for the Buccaneers and a huge loss even without Derek Carr. Now when you look at the Saints, especially in their division, I mean, you just lost to Atlanta a few weeks ago. You came back and lost to the Buccaneers today. It's going to be a tall task moving forward.
To the point of Buccaneer balance, you see Baker Mayfield dropping the throw or attempting passes 36 times, dropped the throw on a few more in which he scrambled, but they did run the ball 32 times, designed run, some good balance in the play calling, but if you can run it a little bit more effectively, it's going to be a Tampa team that can protect that football and be even more dangerous. Talk to me about Spencer Rattler, because we had 5 different rookies make starts in the NFL here in Week 6. What stood out to you from his performance? Didn't look overwhelmed, made some rookie mistakes, but stood in when he needed to.
That's the thing. He didn't look overwhelmed. You didn't walk away from this game saying, wow, the moment was too big for Spencer. He played against a real good team. Remember, this Buccaneers team got some key contributors back in the lineup. Antoine Winfield Jr., some other guys. So you talk about this defense that he faced against today. He played against a playoff caliber team, and you didn't lose the ball game because of Spencer Rattler.
No.
You know, you walk away from this game saying, you know what, as he gets acclimated to this NFL world, along with understanding the offense and being able to be the point guard for their offense, I think you have a guy, you have a player here. Now, I'm not saying there should be a quarterback controversy in New Orleans. No, Derek Carr is the guy. But you always want to walk away knowing if your starter is not there, we still have a fighting chance with the backup.
All is not lost.
Facts. I agree.
Yeah. It was what his team needed, minus those 2 fourth-quarter turnovers from Spencer Rattler. Not enough to get it done in this divisional matchup as the Bucs walk away winners once again. All right, here's a look at Baker's second quarter versus the rest of the game. That second quarter was
unbelievable.
I mean, just go back, wherever you got to go back, watch that second quarter in real time.
And it happened fast.
His head was spinning.
It's like 3 minutes of all of that.
We're watching every game at once, and we could not take our eyes off of a bouncing ball between the Bucs and the Saints. It was 3 INTs in the second, but near perfection span as he joins, you guessed it, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and Lynn Dickey. Maybe you didn't guess Lynn Dickey. Well, it's now Jordan Love as well, as he goes 22 of 32, 258. 4 of them found the end zone, did have an INT, ran it for another 13. As this Green Bay team continues to take form, now 4-2, in what proves to be a black and blue, but also multiple NFC North. Let's start right there, Mac. This is going to be some fun divisional football. Green Bay, they're for real. Minnesota appears to be for real. We got a Detroit Lions team that could be the best team in the conference. The Bears have shown signs of being a true contender as well. What about this performance by Green Bay told you that this is the way that they win? I know Arizona didn't give the biggest resistance here, but ran the ball effectively, threw when necessary, and executed in all facets.
This game, the game today, one thing it showed me is that Jordan Love is 100% healthy.
Yeah. You got
from
that
the knee
back,
element.
That little back foot thing.
Yeah, the back foot thing is there when he just floats on that back foot. He just casually throws a dime. But also, too, think about some of the running yards he was able to get avoiding pressure. That's something that you need to see, because you got to keep it real. He's a pocket passer, but he's athletic enough to make things happen with his legs. So he seems to be fully removed from that knee injury that happened week 1, and the rhythm of the offense is there. So you talk about Jordan Love. This is a guy that's overly talented. I know we always talk about talented quarterbacks, just natural throws of the football. We always highlight a guy like Pat Mahomes or Justin Herbert or C.J. Stroud. You have to highlight Jordan Love's arm, because that throwing arm is lovely. And today he showcased that. Not to mention he got Romeo Doubs involved. You talked about being disgruntled a week ago. Now he's back involved into the passing game as well. 2 receiving touchdowns. Eventually, they're going to get their prize free agent investment going in Josh Jacobs. But as a team today, they ran for 179 yards. And I'll say this, Joe. We're living in a world right now, and I say this with all the confidence that I have. We're living in a world right now, if you were to rank the top 5 teams in the NFC, 4 of them coming from the NFC North.
It's hard to argue with. It truly is. 4 of them, you said.
4 of them in the top 5. If you had your top 5 NFC teams right now.
I thought you were going to say 3.
I would say 4. And you have 1 spot for another team.
We got a Bears highlight coming up later on in the hour, and I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if you're pandering to me, but we will get there. I do need a thought here on the Cardinals as well, because this was a watershed moment. You're sitting at 2-3. You go on the road, a tough place to play always, and you walk out of there 2-4. I have written, and this was an early thought, exposed as soft. Now, they did fight back in the third quarter to make this respectable. You walk away from this game feeling what about the Cardinals moving forward?
I was disappointed in the Cardinals, because you look at what they did last week against San Francisco, right? Being down double digits in the second half and just finding a way to win. You played physical football, you forced turnovers, you came into a ball game today on the road with a lot of momentum, and you just were flat the entire ball game. And outside of just being outplayed, just think about the mental errors. I have it here. Arizona, they had 13 penalties for 100 yards.
You're not going to Green Bay giving up a football field and going to win a football game.
Compared to Green Bay only had 5 penalties. You know what I mean? And 3 fumbles.
Yeah.
The Cardinals had 3 fumbles today, and they lost all 3 fumbles. So it's paramount to be smart with the football, play clean football when you're on the road. But when you look at what they did last week, I feel like we would see a better performance from Arizona. And what we saw was a team that we've seen in years past that seemed to be outmanned, could not get things going on either side of the football field, and just bad, sloppy football.
It's a team with talent, but you don't know what you're going to get.